जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जायों विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद His Divine Grace Shila Bhai Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astottara Satashri Srimati His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nantakoti Vaishnav Vrindi Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Ari Gaur Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinatha Shyamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, all glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, all glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So today we will start our reading into Krishna book by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna He, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna He, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Rakshamam, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Pahimam, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. That's the introduction or invocation for Krishna book. There's a dedication at the beginning. To my father, Gaur Mohan Dey, 1849 to 1930, a pure devotee of Krishna, who raised me as a Krishna-conscious child from the beginning of my life. In my boyhood, in my boyhood ages, he instructed me how to play the mirdanga. He gave me Radha Krishna Vigraha to worship. And he gave me Jagannath Ratha Yatra to duly observe the festival as my childhood play. He was kind to me, and I imbibed from him the ideas later on solidified by my spiritual master, the Eternal Father. We continue with the words from Apple. That is the recording company which George Harrison was associated with. Words from Apple by George Harrison. Everybody is looking for Krishna. Some don't realize that they are, but they are. Krishna is God, the source of all that exists, and the cause of all that is, was, or ever will be. As God is unlimited, He has many names. Allah, Buddha, Jehovah, Rama, all are Krishna, all are one. God is not abstract. He has both the impersonal and the personal aspects to his personality, which is supreme, eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. As a single drop of water has the same qualities as an ocean of water, so has our consciousness the qualities of God's consciousness. But through our identification and attachment with material energy, physical body, sense pleasures, material possessions, ego, etc., our true transcendental consciousness has been polluted, and like a dirty mirror, it is unable to reflect a pure image. With many lives, our association with the temporary has grown. This impermanent body, a bag of bones and flesh, is mistaken for our true self, and we have accepted this temporary condition to be final. Through all ages, great saints have remained as living proof that this non-temporary, permanent state of God consciousness can be revived in all living souls. Each soul is potentially divine. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, quote, "Steady in the self, being free from all material contamination, the yogi achieves the highest perfectional stage of happiness in touch with the Supreme Consciousness." Unquote. 628. Yoga, a scientific method for God self-realization, is the process by which we purify our consciousness, stop further pollution, and arrive at the stage of perfection, full knowledge, full bliss. If there's a God, I want to see Him. It's pointless to believe in something without proof, and Krishna consciousness and meditations are methods where you can actually obtain God perception. You can actually see odds where you can methods without proof and Krishna consciousness and meditation are methods where you can actually obtain God perception. You can actually see God and hear Him, play with Him. It might sound crazy, but He is actually there, actually with you. There are many yogic paths: Raja, Jnana, Hatha, Kriya, Karma, Bhakti, which are all acclaimed by the masters of each method. Swami Bhaktivedanta is, as his title says, a Bhakti yogi following the path of devotion. By serving God through each thought, word and deed, and by chanting His holy names, the devotee quickly develops God consciousness by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One inevitably arrives at Krishna consciousness. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. I request you to take advantage of this book, Krishna, and enter into its understanding. I also request that you make an appointment to meet your God now through the self-liberating process of yoga, union, and give peace a chance. All you need is love, Krishna. Haribol. George Harrison, 31st March 1970. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurul Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Shoyam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Satadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatha Dashatarine Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pabhinebhyo Vaishnavbhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this one name, George Harrison, will probably be with the Hare Krishna movement for the next 10,000 years. And he's played such an important role in the early stages of the Krishna consciousness movement. And we'll see his role in this book, Krishna. Although this book describes Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, we can understand Krishna's activities are eternal, and Srimad Bhagavatam, which describes his activities and the activities of his devotees, is also eternal. But this book, Krishna, is very special because of Srila Prabhupada and how he was able to get this book together. So we'll read from excerpts from a class or an article by His Holiness Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj, and he explains the history of the Krishna book. This is a very, very nice article found on the Veda base. So let's bring that up quickly. So we understand Prabhupada is in America in the early days, 1968, after he came back from India. In 1967, he left to work on his health. So when he got back, he really began to push the Krishna consciousness movement. We were surprised when Prabhupada first proposed that he write the Krishna book, a summary study of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. At the end of 1968, as the end of 1968 approached, he had been working steadily on his translations on the Bhagavatam and was just completing the 4th canto. We all looked forward of 2 years of Bhagavatam work ahead. Everything seemed possible and fresh. Then, in December, a letter addressed to Jadu Rani arrived. Quote, "As soon as possible, I require some artist who will paint pictures from the Bhagavatam as I give hints on what to paint. But the artist must be very quick. 2 or 3 pictures must be done every week. These pictures will be used for my new book, Krishna, which I will begin as soon as I get a chance, or as soon as I get assistance of a quick printer. I am sure that you can do this, but you are already engaged in so much work. There is one girl in Seattle, Joy Fulcher. She is a nice artist. As usual, I shall send Krishna tapes, and your husband
with hints for you about the pictures, so you and your husband can send them to me. Send me the complete materials for final printing. Consider the suggestions and do the needful. So here we see in 1968, December 1968, Prabhupada began by requesting paintings, and he was going to give hints on how to do it. In a similar mood, Prabhupada wanted to give the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. In his purport to Krishna Das Kaviraja's statement, he writes, following in the footsteps of Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, I am trying to translate the Bhagavata literature as quickly as possible. However, knowing myself to be an old man and almost an invalid because of rheumatism, I have already translated the essence of all literatures, the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, as a summary study in English. I started the Krishna consciousness movement at the age of 70. Now I am 78. And so my death is imminent. I am trying to finish the translation of Srimad Bhagavatam as soon as possible. But before finishing it, I have given my readers the book Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that if I die before finishing the whole task, they may enjoy this book, which is the essence of Bhagavatam. C.C. Anchalila 111 purport. So Prabhupada could see, and probably he knew he will not be able to complete the Srimad Bhagavatam. And here we see, in this purport in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he is saying that this 10th canto, the summary study that he has done, is the essence of the Bhagavatam. So this is the history of Krishna book. Later on in this article, Prabhupada received, so this is when the Krishna book was completed and it came from the printer in Japan. Prabhupada received his copies at the Ratha Yatra in San Francisco. Devotees had rushed advance copies to him from the printer in Japan. What could give the devotees more pleasure to see Prabhupada looking at a newly printed book? He looked at his dream fulfilled. Everything had been done, and now he could be relieved from even if he passed away, Krishna's 10th canto pastimes would be available. Prabhupada looked at the book and announced to the people, now this book has just been delivered to us, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have 50 copies. So anyone who wants a book from me can come up. He offered them for $10 each. A mob of people rushed their money forward until the books were sold. He didn't even keep a copy for himself. So this is how Prabhupada was so excited when the books first came at the San Francisco Ratha Yatra, and he distributed all 50 copies himself. So the history further is that the early devotees who went to London, they were able to meet the Beatles at the recording studio in London, and Shama Sundar Prabhu and George Harrison became good friends. And Shama Sundar Prabhu, he wanted to maintain that relationship with George Harrison. And when Srila Prabhupada came to London in 1969, 69, he asked Shama Sundar Prabhu, this boy, George Harrison, is a nice boy. And this is the quotation to print the Krishna book, $19,000. And Srila Prabhupada asked Shama Sundar Prabhu, you please ask George Harrison. And immediately Shyamasundar Prabhu was not happy. He was not happy because he wanted to keep this donation thing away, not to ask George Harrison for money. And but he thought, no, it will be like too much at this early stage of their relationship for him to ask George Harrison. And Prabhupada coached him a little, you go and ask him. And it's amazing that George Harrison agreed to pay for the entire cost of the printing of Krishna book. And through that, we can see how we got the Krishna book. There's a nice story as well told by devotees in the memory series that were there when he was asked, and when Shyamasundar asked George Harrison, I think they were taking prasadam together, and when Shyamasundar Prabhu asked George Harrison that Prabhupada wants you to sponsor this and donate $19,000, immediately there was a thunderstorm and the lights went out. And after maybe a few seconds or like a minute, the lights came back on. And George Harrison said, oh, well, after that, definitely I'll sponsor this book, $19,000. So it's amazing how Krishna works. And thereafter, we see how great the contribution to the Hare Krishna movement, such a great contribution that George Harrison made. So we're reading the beginning of Krishna book, and we cannot forget George Harrison. And his final words are, all you need is love, Krishna, Haribol. So he has a great personality, and whenever one stage I lived for a month at Bhaktivedanta Manor, and I was fortunate at that time that they inaugurated a special garden for George Harrison. And many people came, his wife came, and many people from the music industry came as well. And they all took part in that function that was there. They had a nice little tea party and things like that, the English style. And so beginning always in Krishna book, we'll always, just like we remember our Guru and Srila Prabhupada, ask their permission, and so we can read and remember Krishna's pastimes, that we should also remember George Harrison and the role that he has played. So this is the beginning of Krishna book, and then from next week we'll continue with the preface and introduction, and then continue reading the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna. We'll stop there and have Aarti now. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.